better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Well, that's right, they mostly come at night, because this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk entertainment. It's Tuesday. Got streamed today, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the Dahmer. We got stuff to talk about with the Giants. We got the Brian Daboll presser. We got the Giants reporting, basically just for strength training and everything else. We got the conversations about Daniel Jones and him being ready to be cleared to play. Well, not really. But we're going to talk about that as well. But I also want to talk about the cap space a little bit here, because I know everyone, like I said before, we all talk about the cap space. We all pontificate about the cap space. We all sit there and think about it and say, some people sit there and tell you it doesn't matter. Then the Giants are in where we are right now. And I guess it did matter a little bit. But let's talk about it briefly, because everyone talks about the fact that we need cap space to sign our free agents. We need cap space to sign our rookie draft pool. We need all this cap space for all these other things. But the one thing that people neglect, and I don't think Joe Shane neglects it, I think the fans neglect it. And that's what I like to refer to as operational cap space. What I mean in reference to that is the Giants not only have to clear the cap space for their rookies, not only for their free agents and everything else, they need to have operational expense money or operational cap space for the season, to have the ability to make moves via injury, have the ability to make some type of roster moves, make sure we can field a complete 53-man roster. I think we learned that last year that, we went the last game of the season not able to fill a 53-man roster because we didn't have the cap space. So yes, while we sit here and pontificate about the amount we need to sign free agents to improve the offensive line, to get some linebackers, to sign our draft picks, we need to have operational money as well. Because if you don't have, I always feel that you need to have at least $6 to $7 billion on hand during the season, if not more, to make sure that you have the wherewithal to make roster moves. And if we don't look at it from that perspective as well, we could run into the same issues that we ran into last year. We're not going to sit there and pontificate about this. We're not going to overly examine this because, like I said, it is what it is. We just need it to have the ability to function as an NFL franchise during the season. And again, I'm going to coin the word operational cap space.
That phrase is trademark, not to use that tradition, Ricky Bobby.
That's right, Ricky Bobby. We also had the Brian Daboll presser today, talking about what he likes, about what he's seeing, about what he's going on. He was talking to the media. Like I said, we've kicked off we kicked off kind of the voluntary workouts for the Giants. Right now, it's basically just going to be like I said, lifting weights, doing exercise. It's all voluntary. And Daboll said he had a good attendance, that the house was packed, which is what you want to see. And he said it was a good start. He took time to visit each position room and have a full team meeting, which I like because he's looking at his guys. He's figuring out his guys. He's trying to talk to everyone. He's looking to see, who he has, because you know what? There's going to be a lot of decisions made on this organization and on this roster. This roster is no way set in any regards. He was asked about Kadarius Toney, who had kind of a stop and go rookie season, to say it's the least injuries, COVID. But like I said, Daboll's saying it again. Everyone's getting a clean slate. There's a lot of information right now to consume for these players, and once we get through the introductions and standards and things like that in terms of playbook-wise, so each person is going to have the responsibility to make sure they're on top of the information. The coaches are here to help them, and then when we'll have a good spring in terms of weights, then when we get onto the field, it's going to be there. It's funny that he talks about Kadarius Toney. He talks about in terms of knowing the playbook. Kadarius Toney, as we talked about repeatedly, had evidently issues getting on the field early in the season because he didn't know the playbook. He really only got on the field via injury. Even our special teams coach was like, I don't want him returning kicks. And that's kind of a bad start from when your guy is supposed to be your dynamic kick returner and punt returner and everything else. And they don't even trust him to return the kickoffs. Daboll also said they're going to have plenty of meetings on how to avoid injury plague season like they had in 2021. They're going to review what their practice schedule looks like, so how to ramp up guys. Talking about hydration. You got to love that. We're going to talk about hydration. We're going to talk about drinking water. He also briefly spoke about, how, Daniel Jones a little bit. And he says, I've answered this really the same way the last 4 years with Josh. It's all-encompassing job. It starts with you just being able to communicate effectively in the huddle, or run the no-huddle operation well. Really get to know your players, the body language of each player, receiver, and things like that. And that's what we're asking him to do. Have some input of what he likes and doesn't like, and then ultimately evaluate his decision-making and try to put him in as many different situations as we could teach him that we learn and then hopefully he can retain what we're playing. Look, it may not come until week 3 of the season, but we're trying to hit all these things for the quarterbacks to make sure he's on point in regards to that. That's kind of a scary, honestly, it's an honest assessment, but it's kind of a scary assessment. You got your 24, 25, 24 going on 25-year-old quarterback, and you're hoping that you're going to put him in situations where he can learn things. He hasn't learned anything in 3 years in the NFL. Like I said, I don't get the warm, fuzzy feeling when I heard that about Daniel Jones coming from the head coach. So you never know. You never know what's going to go on Tyrod Taylor. You never know what's going to go on with the draft. So I do find that interesting. They did talk about Daniel Jones and how they feel comfortable about him being healthy. Of course, he hasn't been cleared for contact. So we got to you got to read in between the lines with that. He hasn't been cleared with contact, for any type of contact. So, but they feel healthy about it. They feel good that he's ready to go. Blake Martinez and Sterling Shepard look like they're on the comeback trail. So you know what? Like I said this before, guys, if we win 5, it's going to be a good season. This is going to be one of these seasons as a Giant fan or a fan of any sport that if you win a certain number of games over what you're projected, you need to be happy, because this is going to be a work in progress for a couple of years to come. I don't think people should fall for the false hope that certain fans and content creators and Twitterers, I don't know, or Instagrammers preach that the Giants are going to win 10 games and go to the playoffs. Well, a lot of us just say, we'll be happy at 6. But so this is a way to enjoy this. Enjoy what you have in front of you, because this is going to be one of those few seasons, especially talking about Brian Daboll and Joe Shane, where expectations are so low that you win 6 games or 5 games, you look like a hero. Build the team, build it right, teach fundamentals, draft well, and build the organization from the foundation up, and good things will happen. And you never know. Maybe they turn around in 2014. Excuse me, 2014. So maybe they turn around in 2024. And we have something that's something to be proud of once again as a Giant organization. But honestly, like I said, a lot of people are like, you've been so optimistic with Daboll and Shane. Yes, because you know what? They have said the right things, they have done the right things, and they have done the things that allow you to be optimistic for what they're going to accomplish, or hopefully what they want to accomplish. Don't forget, we have the big stream today at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the Dahmer. Talking everything Giants, talking everything what's going to be going on with these voluntary workouts. Should be fun, should be interesting. And again, this is Tim with the Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you like, please subscribe. You're in that big means that'd be awesome.